At our wedding reception, my mother-in-law stood up and sneered. "This poor boy thinks he can provide for my daughter. She's just using him until someone better comes along." So, my buddy keeps bugging me to write this down before I move on with my life, as he puts it. I'm not much of a writer, but whatever, here goes nothing. I met Chloe at my cousin's party 3 years ago. She was there with a mutual friend and, honestly, way out of my league, the kind that turns heads when she walks in a room. We hit it off, talking about some Netflix show we were both watching, can't even remember which one now, and exchanged Instagrams. I figured she was just being nice and wouldn't respond when I DM'd her later, but she did. Our first date was nothing special, just coffee at a local coffee shop on Main Street everyone goes to for their latte art or whatever. I was nervous as hell, but she seemed genuinely interested in me. Asked questions about my family, my interests, stuff like that. She told me she worked at a dental office and lived with a roommate in one of those new apartment complexes on the east side. Things moved pretty quick after that. Within 6 months, we were basically living together at my place. A small 2-bedroom I'd been renting for years. She'd stay over 5 nights a week, had her stuff all over, but kept her apartment because the lease wasn't up. That should have been my first clue something was off. She never invited me, always had some excuse about her roommate being weird about guests. The first time I met her mom, Sarah, was about 8 months in. Chloe had been weirdly dodgy about introducing me to her family but finally set up a dinner at some restaurant where the entree cost more than I usually spend on groceries. The moment Sarah looked at me, I felt like I was being sized up at a cattle auction. She kept asking these pointed questions about my future plans and career trajectory while glancing at my watch. Just a regular citizen, nothing fancy. When Chloe went to the bathroom, Sarah leaned across the table and straight up told me her daughter was used to a certain lifestyle that I should understand would be challenging for me to provide. I laughed it off, thinking she was making some awkward joke, but her face stayed dead serious. Then Chloe came back, and the conversation shifted to some family vacation they took to Cabo. I told Chloe later that night her mom seemed a bit intense. She just shrugged and said Sarah was protective because Chloe's dad left them with basically nothing when she was 12. Made sense, I guess, so I didn't push it. Fast forward another year and I proposed. Nothing extravagant. Took her to the lake where we had our 3rd date. Got down on one knee with a ring I'd saved up for months to buy. She seemed genuinely happy, took about 50 selfies to post on her stories, and immediately called her mom. Not her friends, her mom, while we were still at the lake. That's when things started getting weird. Wedding planning turned Chloe into someone I barely recognized. Suddenly everything had to be top tier.